Welcome to AZPM News Daily, a wrap-up of all the day's news from Arizona Public Media. I'm Steve Jess, and on this Wednesday, armed federal agents move on to the Tohono O'odham Nation.
That's according to a news release from tribal leaders, who said the federal government is violating tribal law by trespassing.
Pressure mounts against another border project.
We should not be pouring billions of taxpayer dollars into a second unnecessary wall.
And TUSD is looking at which schools to close. That's up on this Wednesday, August 26th, 2026. Topping our headlines, leaders of the Tohono O'odham Nation say the federal government has deployed armed agents to tribal land in a push to begin border wall construction. Angela Gervasi reports.
In the early hours of Tuesday morning, about 20 armed federal agents entered the Tohono O'odham Nation, along with border wall contractors and a SWAT team. That's according to a news release from tribal leaders, who said the federal government is violating tribal law by trespassing. The move came hours after tribal leaders held a packed town hall in Ajo. Vice Chairman Carla Johnson was one of a steady stream of people who spoke against the wall that day.
Members of the nation, we've known from the start that a static wall does not work.
The Trump administration is planning a 62-mile border wall across the Tohono O'odham Nation. The tribe says it's consulting with its legal team on how to respond to the federal agents' recent arrival. Angela Gervasi, AZPM News.
Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva is calling on the federal government to suspend construction of border infrastructure projects until it's properly consulted with the Tohono O'odham Nation. Katya Mendoza has more on that.
An existing border wall runs next to Quito Baquito Springs, a sacred cultural site for the Tohono O'odham and Hiacherotom tribes at Organ Pipe Cactus National Monument. The Trump administration's plans to build a second wall parallel to the first one has raised concerns about what could happen to the historic oasis. During a visit to the springs, Congresswoman Grijalva said she is working on legislation to rescind the Department of Homeland Security's sweeping authority to waive federal laws.
We should not be pouring billions of taxpayer dollars into a second unnecessary wall that does nothing to actually enhance security, simply for political symbolism.
In a letter sent to DHS Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen and Interior Secretary Doug Burgum this week, Grijalva is demanding an explanation as to how both agencies intend to uphold federal trust, respect tribal sovereignty, and prevent further damage to culturally significant sites. I'm Katya Mendoza, AZPM News.
Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs is attacking her rival, Republican Congressman Andy Biggs, for supporting pardons of people who attacked the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. At an event sponsored by a police group in Phoenix last night, Hobbs said Biggs supported a blanket pardon.
He called for pardoning of the January 6th defendants and called them J6 political prisoners.
Speaking with reporters after that event, Biggs denied supporting pardons for the protesters, saying that decision belonged to President Trump.
I never made comment on the pardon. Some of them deserved it, some of them didn't. But that was his decision to make, not mine.
However, the record says otherwise. After Trump won re-election, Biggs tweeted, "President Trump must pardon all J6 political prisoners on January 20th. Hobbs and Biggs both appeared before the Arizona Police Association on Tuesday night, answering questions but not debating face-to-face. An Arizona wildland firefighter died from a medical emergency while suppressing a blaze near Santa Fe, New Mexico. The U.S. Wildland Fire Service on Tuesday identified the victim as 62-year-old San Carlos Apache Randy Lupe. He was a temporary emergency support crew member with the San Carlos Camp Crew. In a statement, Wildland Fire Service Chief Brian Fennessy shared his agency is profoundly saddened by the loss. The Interior Department is aiding families, co-workers, and loved ones as the Frijoles fire continues to burn. As of Wednesday evening, the wildfire bordering Colorado and northern New Mexico had been contained by 55%. The Tucson Unified School District is starting its school closure process due to recent drops in enrollment. Tuesday night, the governing board passed a timeline for an engagement plan. No specific schools were named as targets for closure. Member Jennifer Ekstrom voted against the plan because she says it's rushed. She added the advisory committee is not well represented.
It's really top-heavy. I don't feel like it's community-based, and I don't know how we change that now.
The district is home to 88 schools and has seen a 7% enrollment drop since 2021. The board will hear recommendations for specific schools to close this December. Education Secretary Linda McMahon visited Mesa on Tuesday to call on Governor Katie Hobbs to opt Arizona into a federal school voucher program.
This is what real empowerment looks like, giving parents the freedom to choose the path that best serves their child instead of forcing every student into a rigid, one-size-fits-all system.
That program, which was included in President Trump's Big Beautiful Bill, gives families a tax credit worth up to $1,700 to pay for some public, private, or homeschool expenses. Hobbs vetoed multiple bills to opt Arizona into the program, but her office says the governor is reserving final judgment until next month when the federal government unveils the exact rules governing the program. Flags at state buildings across Arizona flew at half-staff today in honor of Dolly Parton. The country music legend died Tuesday at age 80. Governor Katie Hobbs made the order in accordance with a proclamation from President Donald Trump. Flags will remain lowered until sunset on September 1st. Several prominent Arizonans issued statements mourning the singer. Tucson-born Linda Ronstadt, who recorded 2 collaborative albums with Parton and Emmylou Harris in the 1980s and 90s, said the world is a poorer place without her. And now you're caught up on the stories we've covered today at Arizona Public Media. Thanks for listening. You can subscribe to AZPM News Daily wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Steve Jess, and we'll be back tomorrow.